Welcome back, everybody, to the next video. Today we're going to tie a gotcha, or my version of a gotcha, because I like to modify everything. First thing we're going to do, we're going to pinch a barb here, and I don't, on these bigger saltwater hooks, I don't like using my jaws because it can damage it, so I got a pair of needle nose pliers here. This is the Daiichi 2546 in a size 6. So I use the needle nose pliers here to pinch the barbs. It just does a better job than without risking my jaws. So like I said, this is a little bit of a modified gotcha. This is a version that I tied when I was down in Belize in San Pedro, and I had some good luck with it. So it's basically, it's just a little bit modified from a gotcha, but it definitely isn't your standard one. So this version I'm going to tie pretty much all in pink. We've got the Uni Thread 6/0 pink thread. I had some luck with an all orange fly as well. Pretty much the exact same as this, just with orange thread, orange flash. The legs were a little bit different with a clear leg with an orange tip. So we're going to start off here getting some thread on before we put our dumbbell eyes on. I'm not using dumbbell eyes per se. I'm just using Beadchain, and I suggest you have a variety of different weighted flies when you go down there. I found the last trip I was on, we were fishing in fairly shallow water, a foot, 2 feet deep. And anytime I was using dumbbell eyes, I was spooking the fish on when they hit the water. The next day I switched to a bead chain, and that my problems went away. I was able to start hooking up with fish. So I'm gonna cut some medium bead chain here. I showed you the scissors there. Don't use your regular tying scissors because you're going to destroy them. So I have a pair of old heavy-duty scissors that I don't mind wrecking the blades with. Cut your bead chain, and then we're going to do a figure 8 pattern here around the bead chain, and then around underneath everything as well. So this is the silver medium bead chain. You can get some smaller and you can get some larger, as well as you can get the dumbbell eyes. So yeah, the figure 8 pattern, and then underneath everything, pulling it tight. It takes a little bit of getting used to, doesn't take getting used to it. It just takes a fair amount of wraps to secure these, the bead chain or the dumbbell eyes. So, just so you can see the pattern here. And you can switch it up. You don't have to do the exact same figure 8 pattern the whole time. You can, go one way and then wrap around underneath and go back the other way if you choose. Gonna use some UV flow, the Loon UV flow as my head cement. So just adding a little bit onto the threads and giving it a quick shot with the torch to help secure those bead eyes, the bead chain onto the hook there. So next step, we're just going to do some touching wraps back towards the hook bend. Don't have to go all the way back to the bend. Just past the hook point, I think, is a good spot to go here. But you should make nice touching wraps. It just gives a nice, the pink, the color underneath, whatever thread color you choose, just gives that underlying color underneath the Krystal flash. So like I said, everything's gonna be pink on this fly. So we got some fluorescent shrimp pink Krystal flash. Just gonna grab 4 strands of that, tie that in at the back, and then bring our thread back up to the eye of the hook. So we're going to wrap forward the Krystal flash, so keeping good tension on it. We're going to wrap back towards the eye of the hook with the Krystal flash as well. Just giving a nice flashy body to this fly. I am going to wrap the dumbbell eyes like I wrap it with the thread. So we're going to have that flash covering the thread everywhere. So I want to bring this, see how I bring the flash right up to the hook eye. I want it to come off on a nice angle. If I just stopped it right at the dumbbell eyes and then started to tie it back, it just wouldn't sit as nice. And here's where I make a mistake. And I decided to leave the mistake in here because, well, we all make mistakes. So I can recover from this, thankfully. My hook should actually be up the other direction now. I'm trying to fix it um, without doing it properly, but I decide that I'm going to do it right here. So once you put the bead chain or the dumbbell eyes on, flip your hook. This is how the fly is going to ride in the water. So that's how you should actually have it sitting in your vise so you can tie it properly. So like I said, I kind of messed this up and I tried to fix it and I don't like it. So I'm going to take this thread off. I'm going to back this off. And if you do make a mistake, don't try to keep going and back off. Take the hackle off, take the dubbing off, whatever. Take the thread off, take the time to do it right. So I want this Krystal flash to be coming off the hook and going right over top of my hook point. So that's why I want it up at the eye. So I have a nice, I have a chance to get it over top of the hook. So next is our legs. We got these Loco legs. Like I said earlier, everything's pink on this fly. So I'm just grabbing one single leg here. Going to find the midpoint and attach it. So again, what I should have done here is I should have brought my thread back to right up to the eye and attached it there. And then as I'm attaching this leg, I can move the thread from the eye towards the dumbbell eyes. I don't know. I like keeping these kind of mistakes and non-perfect things that I notice in because you learn from them. I haven't tied this fly in, oh man, at least a year since the last time I tied a gotcha. So this isn't my best one, but it turns out pretty well. So, but these are some of the mistakes I make, and I find you learn from mistakes. So if you see mistakes in the video, you can see what not to do, and you can make it better. So next is some craft fur. You don't need much on this fly. It's a very lightly dressed fly. This is nowhere close to, not even close to a pencil thickness of hair, like maybe half a pencil thick. You want it to be light. You don't want these flies dressed heavily. I'm going to clean out all the shorter strands that are kind of useless. This is just the tan color. I guess not everything on this fly is pink. I lied to you. I'm sorry, everybody. We got some tan craft fur, and everything else is pink. I make a mistake here. I should have measured this, and then I should have trimmed off the tips to the right of where the thread's going to grab it. I should have trimmed those off really nice and clean. It just would have made the fly easier to clean up after I attach this fur. So there's a little trick I learned from Kelly Gallup. See how that thread doesn't, it's not really going to grab that fur. So I'm going to spin this thread counterclockwise. So I'm going to say to the right. I'm going to spin it counterclockwise like crazy. And what that does is that makes that thread want to go to the left and grab that hair. So it works really, really well. So I want to add some more. I didn't like how it does it, but there it goes over and it grabs all that craft fur. So a few nice wraps here, trying to clean that off. If I had to trim this off, like I had mentioned, I wouldn't have had some of these straggling pieces of craft fur to the right of the thread over top of the hook eye. Just would have made it a lot easier for me to clean it up. But you can see the mistake I make. Don't make it. So I get in there with my fine point scissors, try to trim this up and make it look as good as I can. And then I'm just going to create a nice tapered head from the hook eye to the bead chain. A million wraps to create that head. Not quite, but I'm going to throw some more head cement on here. Again, the UV flow. Just a little bit on the thread. Try not to drop a big that big drop on your desktop. Just need a little bit here on the threads. Whip finish. And give it a little zap with the torch. And yeah, I quite like how this works. I've mentioned it, I think, in almost all my videos now, but it works pretty well. So that's basically a gotcha. Again, this is my version of it. Anything in this kind of realm, uh, there's stuff like the Crazy Charlie and things like that. They all kind of look very similar to this. But it really works well. If you're not spooking the bonefish when you deliver this fly, there's a good chance you're gonna hook up with it. So just trimming the Krystal flash off. This one's a little bit. I end up leaving this fly a little bit long. I'm gonna call it like a 1/3 hook length and then 2/3 body, and that might be a little bit long, but the bonefish love chasing these things down. So you'll actually, if you get a couple chasing it, one thinks he gets it, and then the next one thinks it gets it, and then the third one finally gets it. It's pretty cool watching these fish chase this down. So kind of like 1/3, 2/3 between hook to the total body length. And you can always trim it down more if you'd like. You can make it a little bit longer. It's the joy of fly tying. You can it's your creative space here, so you can do what you want. But that's it. That's the gotcha. It's a really simple fly, but a really, really, really effective fly. So thanks very much for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.